What's going on, people? What's good? Back with another YouTube video for you guys, of course. Today I'm going to be talking about how to potentially identify your daily bias using smart money concepts. Okay, now the reason I'm doing this video today is because a lot of people that talk about smart money concepts, they tend to drag these videos out, making 45 minutes, an hour long, and the explanation is not that necessary to make it so long. So I'm going to try and do this in a very short amount of time. I'm going to try and simplify it as easy as it needs to be, and it's going to be regarding the daily time frame today. For those that are day traders, the daily time frame is a very big deal, in regards to just catching overall moves and expansions and stuff like that. Even retracements as well, the daily is very crucial. So I'm going to try and talk about this in terms that are very understandable. If you are a beginner, of course, then there might be certain things that go over your head in terms of understanding market structure and stuff like that. So if you do need help with that, please visit some of my other videos explaining what market structure is. Okay, it's gonna help you, because if you skip to just this point, you might not understand why I'm saying certain things, but if you understand market structure, you understand why I'm looking at certain things. Now, when it comes to your daily bias, okay, the daily time frame, is going to be one of the best things for you to kind of form your mindset regarding an expansion happening on a specific day, and it's just going to give you a better outlook as well. But what we need to understand, of course, is what trend we're in. Overall trend, you overall bullish, you overall bearish. Has price made a new higher high yet? Has price made a new lower low yet? Are you expecting a retracement to make the new structure point, whether it be a higher low point? You're waiting for that to be made, or you're waiting for a lower high to be made. Okay, it's very important that you know where you are within the trend, and the reason for that is because if we take this movement here in regards to what price is showing, we can kind of understand that. What tool do I want? This one. We can kind of understand that, okay, if we are heading higher, we go into a consolidation here, and then we make another high here, and then we finally get that retracement to the downside right here. Right, we know that, okay, in regards to structure, we can identify the structure points, and when the market is pulling down lower, we're able to understand that that is a natural occurrence in terms of bullish price action to then potentially go on to make the new expansion higher. However, if you are anticipating a retracement, there's also a way to engage in that price action rather than just waiting for the buy to continue the trend, right? You can be a seller in these areas. Now, what specific things I want you guys to kind of understand, okay? I'm going to do something very simple, and you guys can go on and backtest this and look at this yourself, and I plead with you to do so, okay? I don't want you to just take my word from it, okay? I'm going to take a specific line, and I'm going to do something very simple regarding the daily chart. That is, I feel like a lot of people overlook this, and it's very simple, but there's something that happens when we see daily highs breached and daily lows breached and stuff like that. We normally get a reaction, okay? So do this anywhere on the chart, okay? And you'll find something specific happen. So if we start, let's start from here, and then we'll go all the way over to here, okay? But I don't want to do it, again, I don't want to make this video 30 minutes, 45 minutes. So I'm going to give you examples, okay? So what we need to find, if we start right at the bottom here, there's something very basic that has happened, okay? Now, we see that we have a daily low right here, and then the following day, that daily low is breached, and then we get an expansion move to the upside and a continuation in the following days to come, okay? But what I want you guys to notice is that this volume to the upside only happened once we actually breach this low here. Okay, and it's the same for when the market breaches highs as well. I don't want you to think it's just one-way traffic. If you think about when we get above this high here, the previous day's high right here, we breach that one here. The following day, you can see the expansion to the downside happen, right? Now, again, if we look at what occurs here, right, before the market starts rising heavily, right, we see that there are daily lows breached and liquidity levels taken. Right, even the day before we get that move to the upside, right, notice we take out the previous day's low, then we get that continuation to the upside. Even when we get this reversal or retracement to this downside here, when we start pulling back, if we look at what it does, okay, you'll notice something very, very significant, right? Which is going above old daily highs. So until it goes above those old highs, there's no pullback or retracement happening. So if we continue with that thesis right here, as you can see, before we get the expansion up, it takes out previous day low, and then in the coming days you start to see expansion happen. Okay, same thing right here, it takes out the previous day's low right here, you see the expansion happening. So what we're understanding, right, just from clarifying and seeing those things, another one right here takes out the previous day's low, you get those expansions to the upside, right? What we're understanding is there's a very, very good likelihood that once daily levels of liquidity have been taken out, you're likely to start seeing the volume start to pick up in the market. Now, that doesn't mean that once a daily low is breached, you press buy, or once a daily high is breached, you start pressing sell. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is there's a certain characteristic that is happening in the market time and time again. And the reason for that is due to the fact that it could be manipulation in the markets from the institutions trying to basically catch people out, take people out of their trades, people that trade support and resistance. There's going to be stop losses, stop orders below these levels and things like that. They could be trying to trick them out and manipulate them to then get their positions in the market. So that's a natural thing that occurs. Again, if you think about this range here, right, we've got the lows of the range, highs of the range. We take out the highs of the range, and then we start to break down. So even before we really start breaking down, right, we don't have to be, seeing the top of the range broken out and then, oh yeah, the next day should be a sell. We're not doing guesswork. That's not what I'm saying to do, right? But what I'm saying is there's a common pattern we can see where the previous day's high is breached, and then, and only then, do you start to see an engulfing pattern happen in terms of the volume heading down that way. And once you see that, right, that's the market tipping its hat to you. Once you see that, now you can start to think about positioning yourself the following day, or when it gives you that retracement into like your key levels or your confirmations that you're using if you do trade smart money concepts and stuff like that. But what we understand is that, again, in terms of the big engulfing moves or the volume start hitting the market, it happens only when highs have been breached or when lows have been breached in terms of like the liquidity being taken. So every time that this happens, right, there's a theme behind it. Okay, well, in terms of capturing liquidity, next following day we start moving to the downside, right? When we start moving down, breaching past these lows here, okay, we took out the previous day's low, but we also captured some lows to the left right here as well. So we're capturing liquidity regardless, yeah, on the daily. But the fact that it's daily, there's more significance to it. So anywhere that you see where there's a consolidation, right, and then you see lows or highs dipped, there seems to be a reaction from it, right? And that is basically us being in tune with the market to understand that when these things happen, we need to be ready to capitalize on that. So look, with liquidity being such a big thing in the markets, especially regarding smart money, right? When you study this, you understand that the market doesn't move without liquidity. But when you can simplify and just look off the daily chart, right, you start realizing that sometimes, not every day is it going to take out a high or low. I'm not saying that, but in terms of when trends tend to continue or retracements or reversals tend to happen, this area here, this area here, when the reversals tend to happen, you normally see, leading up to that, lows or highs taken. So on this specific day, on Thursday, right, and I'm going to try and make a series out of this, guys, because I know you guys are probably thinking, how do I enter? Again, if I start going into entries, it's going to make this video too long. So, like this video, and I'll start thinking about when I'm going to implement and enroll a series to put together liquidity being captured on a bigger time frame and how you start going into the smaller time frames to look for the entries. But right now, I just want you guys to point out a pattern in terms of what is being presented to us. And what most people might not be paying attention to is the fact that these levels are being dipped, right? Daily lows are being dipped. We need to be aware of that going into that day. Okay, even down to Tuesday right here. Notice, right? When Tuesday starts rocketing, it takes out the previous day's low and then moves up. So instead of you trying to like chase the market now that it's rising up here, if you're aware of this, I'm telling you, in this wick, right? This is a daily time frame. All this wick means is that on a smaller time frame, there's going to be candles here. So you want to go and study, right? Excuse me. You want to go and study, okay, what happened inside this wick, right? What happened inside this wick? Go and study that. I'm telling you, that's where majority of the game lies in terms of you having that light bulb moment, you having a breakthrough in your trading, and all of those things, right? Go and study when there's highs captured, what is happening in here to then cause this mad slide to the downside. Go and study what has happened here when we taken out the previous day's high right here. Because if you can position yourself at the top of this candle, right, and you slide down for a whole day like this and an engulfing day, that could be your week done. You don't even need no more trades after that. All you need is one of these engulfing candles. I'm telling you, like, if you can get a continuation on one of those engulfing candles, that's how you're going to consistently start printing money and, you know, not feeling like you need to be in a trade every day, waiting for a real setup to form, you know, a solid setup to form, something that's going to yield you what it needs to yield you, you know. This isn't a scalper's mentality. There's no need to scalp. When you realize these things are happening, why would you want to scalp if you know that you're on the verge of potentially capturing a continuation? Yeah. So understanding the framework for continuation is a really, really big deal. And I've got a PDF guide coming on that shortly, which I'm going to be releasing in my Telegram. So if you're not part of my Telegram, jump in on that. Okay, it's free. Once that is released, you can also get my pre-trade checklist as well, which is free in there right now. Just check the pinned comments. And it just talks about certain rules regarding what I'm looking for before I even think about entering the trade. What has to kind of line up. So again, just going and continuing off of what this market is showing us, right? If we just look at this here, we have the previous day's low captured, then we start getting some bullish price action. We have one more retest here, which is capturing this daily low, capturing this daily low, but then it starts to actually continue to the upside. Once it does that, notice once it's taken out some daily lows here, the following day when it opens, there's a slight retracement, but then it continues because it's done what it needs to do in terms of capturing liquidity and manipulating people. And you know, people that had sell stops below here thinking the market's going to go lower, they're finished, they're cooked. Now they have to hold on to that position and whatnot, right? So every time, look, so here we had a daily high here, we also have a daily high here, and then once it does that, we get a little bit of a pullback. Same thing here, got a daily high captured right here, right? And then the following day you get 2 days worth of pullbacks. Okay, so what we're noticing, guys, is that when you're looking for the market to potentially reverse, or you're looking for a continuation, when you're seeing price go above or below daily lows or daily highs, right, pay attention to that. Yeah, that should be an alert or an intention for you to be like, okay, I'm going to look at what the market's doing here. Doesn't mean the same day when it goes above here, you're going to get a crazy reversal. I'm not saying that, but in the following days, right, the lower time frames could start revealing what it's trying to do from then. Okay, so this isn't the only confirmation I'm obviously using to enter trades. Again, this is just one piece, and it's a very, very critical piece in regards to just higher time frame analysis. You could do this on the weekly time frame as well, on the monthly time frame, all the bigger time frames. If you see the stuff happening, it holds more weight. Like if this is what's going on, we're piercing weekly highs, we're piercing monthly lows, more things is happening, right? You want to start thinking about, okay, let me see how the market reacts once it's done that. Here, before we start driving up higher, we take out some daily lows. Before we continue to drive up higher here, we take out this daily low. So all of these things, guys, they're not coincidences, right? And a lot of people are overlooking this simple tactic that I am employing to kind of understand that what am I expecting today to do, right? And there might be days where it takes out a high or takes out a low, and then the following day it doesn't do anything, or the volume is low, right? You never know what day it's going to start expanding, Okay, otherwise you'd put everything on the trade to say an expansion's happening. You still have to have other confirmations going into it to suggest that yes, okay, this is lining up, which makes the probability higher. I've also got this lining up, which makes the probability, increases the probability again, and so forth. Right? So I don't want you to just use this and use this alone, but this is a tactic that you can deploy where it's like, okay, if I can see this daily low captured, I want to go and study. Excuse me. I want to go and study what's happening inside this wick right here. I want to really go and look, because again, wick is just on a smaller time frame, a candlestick which is doing something. Right, so candlesticks are coming below this low on the 1 hour, 15 minute. You want to go and study that. Same thing here. What happened in this wick to cause that expansion? So once I started applying that, guys, I'm telling you, this is rules that I live by. These are things that I'd like to see happen in the market, which gives me a tactic to follow, and it also gives me a criteria that I want to see happen. Now, there'll be days where you miss the low, as in like the low gets swept and then you miss the expansion. It doesn't mean that in the coming days you can't try and look for an entry in the coming day to continue, right? Again, that's when market structure comes into it, and your actual bias, what direction you think the market's going in, and all of this stuff. So that plays into it too. But this simple tactic anyone can use. If you're trying to learn to trade this way, anyone can do this, but you just need to know what you're trying to spot. So yeah, guys, that's kind of the breakdown on this video. I'm trying to make it as brief as possible. For those that have never really looked at the market in this fashion, go and backtest what I just showed you and see for yourself, okay, there's a lot of things occurring here that I've been overlooking for far too long. And once you get that breakthrough, now it's about building, you know, your execution and conviction behind the trade and the idea that you have for the market. And rinse and repeat, guys. That's just kind of what it is. There's nothing really that the market is going to show you which should be surprising when you're operating off the higher time frames anyway. You should kind of know what's going on. And you know, don't make it too complicated. Like I said, this video is to try and make it as simple for you guys as possible. A tactic that most people who are day traders, right, will want to be day traders, they're not really looking at it like that, which is very, very strange to me. Well, I don't want to say strange, everyone, you know, each to their own, but this is going to help you. I'm telling you, if you start applying this is going to help you, especially with, okay, something could be on the cards today. It doesn't mean jump the gun, right? You still have to work on your execution, but this is something that you know that in the coming day, once you see one of these things happen, you could have a trade on your hands. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you found this very, very useful. Please like and subscribe, guys. I will be bringing you more content. And if you want a series as well where I start piecing together everything, let me know in the comments what type of videos you guys want to see. And I will be bringing more for you, okay? So I'll see you guys on the next one.